Today I'm gonna rant on something that really bothers me, and that is cigarettes. But before we get onto the video, I've noticed that over 86% of you watching my channel aren't subscribed. So if you're one of these people, please subscribe for more videos coming up. Anyways, let's get on with the rant. So, I have a neighbor who likes to smoke, and probably you have some neighbors who like to smoke also. There are times when the smell of cigarette smoke travels into your window and stink up the room. During the summer, the situation would be worse because obviously during the summer you have your window open more often. This is so frustrating, because there is nothing much that can be done about it, because they are doing it on their own private property. So what you could do is either close the window on a hot summer day, or go into another room. I have been around cigarettes for practically my whole life. My grandmother, my aunt and my uncle from my mother's side were smokers when I was a baby. My grandmother still is now. My aunt quit 11 or 12 years ago, and my uncle quit like 4 or 5 years ago. My grandmother has made several attempts to quit smoking, but that obviously failed, because when I came back into contact with her almost 3 years ago, she was right back on cigarettes. Before COVID, I would go into her flat, and it would always reek of cigarettes. It would smell in the furniture, and in the air it smelled fucking awful in there. And I'm very surprised that I didn't catch cancer or contracted any health issues as a result from all the secondhand smoke I was getting. My dad has a friend who has a wife who smokes. I went to a barbecue to help my mate out, and there were a lot of guests who were smokers, including his sister-in-law, and when I came to their porch, I was punched in the face by this really strong smell of cigarettes, which smelt absolutely awful. And not to mention, his wife and his sister-in-law always reeked of that same cigarette smell. But what I hate the most is when people smoke outdoors. For example, they smoke outside a shopping mall cause they can't smoke in the shopping mall, or outside of a restaurant cause they can't smoke in the restaurant. Basically people smoking outdoors in the streets or in the town square cause they can't smoke indoors. It is so utterly inconsiderate of them to do so, and not to mention, you don't know the kinds of people who are walking by you, and you don't know the health conditions they may have, like they may have asthma or they may think that being around smoke is a major sin. And you know what? Being around smoke is plain bad. Every time I'm around someone who is smoking, I try my hardest to not breathe as much, because I don't want that shit going into my body filling up my lungs. I have to do this every time I'm surrounded by someone who is smoking out in public. I even do this with my grandmother or my mate's wife and his sister-in-law. Every time they're smoking around me, I try to keep a healthy distance from them, because I really do not want to breathe in smoke. I am highly sensitive when it comes to this. So that's why I hate these things with a burning passion. Please note that this is not an angry message to people who smoke, because people make their own life choices, so if you wanna smoke, by all means do so, but at the very least, please be considerate of those around you. If people do not like being around smoke, do not smoke around them. This obviously includes the public. If you're smoking around a bunch of strangers, there's a strong possibility that a lot of people don't appreciate that they have to inhale your cigarette smoke when passing by. I hate it, and I'm sure many other people hate it too. Could you please find an area that is not as densely populated and smoke there for Christ's sake? Because I don't wanna walk by you while you're smoking, and I don't wanna potentially compromise my health all because of some asshole smoking in a public area. I inhaled so much secondhand cigarette smoke as a young kid, and I'm trying my hardest to limit how much secondhand cigarette smoke I inhale. I don't care if you do it in the privacy of your own home. Hell, I don't care if you do it in your garden or your front door, even if it is someone's neighbor doing it and it reeks into another person's room. There's nothing much they can do there, cause they're doing it on their own private property like I mentioned earlier, but in a public area surrounded by strangers, come on, please don't do that shit. I'm often in built up areas so this shit happens so much, and I'm sick of it. That's all I have to say. I hope you enjoyed the rant, and I will see you later.